The following is a Stars and Strikes doubles rebroadcast featuring some of our most memorable programs.
Stars and Strikes doubles. Stars and Strikes doubles is sponsored in part by Somerville Lumber. Stars and Strikes doubles is produced in conjunction with the New Hampshire Candlepin Bowling Association. And now your hosts, Doug Brown and Dan Murphy.
Hi, everybody, and welcome once again to Stars and Strikes doubles here at the Londonderry Bowling Center. I'm Doug Brown, along with Dan Murphy, and of course today we begin a brand new 4-week series here on Stars and Strikes doubles, as we did on the noon show earlier today. So that means we have 5 brand new teams, although these 5 teams made up of an interesting mixture of guys, all of whom have been here before, but some of them haven't had the success of some of the big names that we've had through the course of the years.
As a matter of fact, we just asked one of them if he's still living in one town, and he's moved. And he says he's been living there for 4 years. So, yeah, it's been a while since he's been with us.
So it'll be a chance for some of these bowlers to move into the winner's circle. And, of course, the idea is for one of these 5 teams to advance through the tournament and be with us 3 weeks from today when we settle it all in the series championship match. But we've got a lot of business to attend to before that. So let's introduce our 2 teams for today's match. First of all, our number 5 seeded team from Fremont, New Hampshire, Jack Quinn. His partner from Lynn, Massachusetts, Neil Gosselin.
Okay, Jack comes in averaging 128. His roll-off score is 675. Neil Gosselin's at 127, and his roll-off score is 662.
For Jack, this will be his 3rd appearance with us here on Stars and Strikes. He has a record of 1-1. Neil Gosselin also at an even 500 record at 2-2. And they will take on our number 4 seeded team from Warren, Massachusetts, Phil Clough, and his partner from Concord, New Hampshire, Chuck Langlois.
Okay, Phil comes in averaging 113. Roll-off score is 678. And Chuck Langlois at 125, and his roll-off score is 678 as well.
Obviously, we have prize money at stake here, and the winning team moves on to try and advance up the ladder. Our championship 3 weeks from now. As we move into the holiday season here on Stars and Strikes doubles, we're glad you're with us on this late Sunday afternoon, and we'll be back to start the first of our 3 strings of Stars and Strikes doubles right after these messages. Don't go away. Welcome back to the Londonderry Bowling Center as we begin our new series here on Candlepin Stars and Strikes. And now let's take a look at the individual roll-off scores. We'll catch you up to date on the 10 bowlers who will be in this series. This is how they qualified individually in the roll-off. Again, they bowl as singles, and then we just take them by pairs. The number 1 and 2 finishers, Bob Kelly and Bob Mazur, they will be teamed together. Number 3 and 4, Jack Sanick and Brian McKinley will be paired together. They're our number 2 seeded team. You see the scores in parentheses. Brian McKinley's 165 was his high single in the 5-string roll-off. That beat out Steve Lavery's 162, his high single. So as a result, Brian McKinley gets into that number 2 seeded position, whereas Steve Lavery slides to the number 3 team with Roger BEAUDIN, who finished 6th. And then our 4 bowlers for today. Our number 4 seeded team, Phil Clough and Chuck Langlois, Jack Quinn and Neil Gosselin, our number 5 seeded team. So here's how the teams look as they combine and you add the scores together. And now you see the teams that we'll be getting a look at in the weeks ahead. The winners of this match today will face Steve Lavery and Roger BEAUDIN next week. But right now we are set to get this match started, and Jack Quinn is going to get the honor here on lane 30. And he's right in the pocket with that first ball, leaving the 8 and 10 with wood, and this wood could be interesting.
Well, he's just going to have to hit it high where the 2 pieces of wood meet. Both of them are going to fly. He's going to need some sidewall action. There he is.
Yes,
exactly
sir.
What he needed, and that's what he got. Good spare for Jack. Watch it, the left sidewall come off. Actually pulled the wood out of the channel.
How much of a lift is that to just make a shot and get a spare in that first box?
It takes a weight off your shoulders, that's for sure. Of course, that puts the weight back on when you punch through the middle.
The spread eagle for Jack.
I always say if you're bowling in a match individually or something, the first box and the sixth box are the toughest boxes of the game. First, you got to get up sometimes when you're cold, and you have to wait around for your other teammates to bowl, and then come up for that sixth frame and loosen back up again. 23 through 2 boxes for Jackie Quinn.
I suppose we should elaborate a little on that. In most of the Pro Tour events and most of the tournament competitions, you bowl 5 boxes at a time, and that's why the first and the sixth are the tougher ones. Here is Chuck Langlois, who is making his first appearance here with us in a little over 3 years. Last time Chuck was here was in singles competition, of course, 3 years ago against Steve Vadnais, and he lost a tough one, 4-10 to 399.
He's got some work to do here. Still looking at 6 pins, 1 ball left. And boy, actually took the 8 pin out of there. Disappointing 5 box for Chuck Langlois.
Chuck overall on Stars and Strikes with a record of 2-3.
Oh, good try there. He elected to go to the left-hand side with the 3 pins, 2, 4, 7 left up. We talk about this a number of times. He had the 3, 6 up as well. And I always say try to go with on the 3, 6 side because he could undercut it and hit the 7 pin, and then who knows what's going to happen after that.
Well, a quick 10-pin lead for the blue team, the team of Jack Quinn and Neil Gosselin. And here is Neil for his first 2 frames of the match.
Right in the pocket. Solid 8-pin drop. The 4 pin and the 8 pin left. 2 pins right together.
Nope.
And he picks out just the 4 pin.
This is the second time this year that Neil Gosselin has qualified for Stars and Strikes doubles. He was here back in October. Late October, he was teamed with Francis Beaulieu, and they beat Bob Whitcomb and Jack Sanick, and then lost in a series championship match to Paul St. Pierre and Steve Reno.
Neil turns the ball over, wants that ball to break from right to left. Tall fella, big arm swing, generates a lot of power. And what a shot!
Great shot by Neil Gosselin.
Almost looked like he was going to cut the 2 pin in front of the 6 and 10, but he caught the 6 pin clean, and then finally the 10 pin, and a great opening mark for Neil Gosselin. 2 for the team now.
Now Phil Clough from all the way out in Western Mass, Warren, Massachusetts.
He's got the 5, 6, 10 left, piece of wood to the left of the 5 pin he's going to try to play, and just too low. Those of you who are an avid bowlers and wonder, I'm not good enough to try out for the TV roll-offs and stuff like that. Here's a bowler that comes in, he's made a show a number of times, and he's averaging 113. When he gets in the roll-offs, well, his roll-off score was 678, was it? 678, so he averaged well over 130 and made the show. He's looking at the 4-8. And he converts that for a spare. First mark of the match for that team.
Matches the mark left by Neil Gosselin in the 4th. And the first rotation complete. Back around to Jack Quinn.
Oh, he's right in the pocket. No doubt about that one. Just a matter whether they're all going to go or not, because 9 of them fly out. The 8 pin, the last one to go. 2 marks in a row, 3 for the team, looking for 3 in a row now. Going to fill the strike. Another one.
Oh, man! 2 perfect first balls for Jack Quinn. A high five from his partner and a look again.
There it is. This time the 4 pin's the last one to go, but 9 of them fly out of there as soon as the ball hits the pins. Good pin action by Jack Quinn. Chuck Langlois off target. Gets just the 4 on the spare.
Not a bad effort there by Chuck.
Little light hit. Got both of those other pins that are standing rocking back and forth, but can't convert for the spare. And it's an 8. And the lead jumps to 29. That's the good news. Bad news is they still have a double strike working.
2 teams have already qualified for the Stars and Strikes Doubles Tournament of Champions, and Chuck gets a break on the 4-pin. Paul St. Pierre and Steve Reno at 3:49. Gary Carrington and Joe Ashline at 4:07. And Chuck spares it up on the 10-pin. That'll somewhat counteract the effect of the double strike.
Well, here's the ball that's really going to either increase the lead substantially or just modestly. He's working on double. This is the big ball. Oh, that is right in there again.
That close to a triple.
You have to be careful if he's... Well, let's see where the wood's going to settle down. Be careful if he splits the 3-6 here. The ball could be deflected because of the wood in between the 2 pins.
He's on it.
Problem.
The spare on the double strike, 101 through 6, with a spare up in the 7th for the team of Gosselin and Quinn. And that time, right through the middle for the spread eagle.
He's been laying the ball down right smoothly on the lane. In the last box, he broke over into the Brooklyn side. This time, he lofted the ball further in the lane, cut down on the break, and he punched through the middle.
Not quite. Almost.
Almost converted the spread eagle, though.
And a 10 box for Neil. 125. That score will be reflected the next time you see the computer score. 125 through 8 for the team of Quinn and Gosselin. And this was on a spare, just a 5 fill for Phil Clough.
4 horsemen plus the 8 pin in the back.
No.
2 full.
Phil Clough was here back in the spring last time in our first Tri-State Megabucks Doubles Tournament of Champions, as you see the conversion for the 10. Phil was on the number 5 seeded team in last spring's Tournament of Champions.
Missing the 8 pin. 8 pin was missing, I think, in that rack.
We'll have to re-rack for Phil.
Yep.
We get Phil to re-rack that one. Phil was paired with Tom O'Brien, and they came in as the number 5 seed, and they lost their first match in the Tournament of Champions to Mike Morgan and Paul St. Pierre. It was a terrific match as they came from behind and lost by only 7 with a 392. Now we've got all 10 pins up there, and
things aren't going bad enough. He had a decent hit, but there was a pin missing. This time he resets the pins and goes through the middle. Sometimes the only luck you have is bad.
Well, an indication of what's gone on so far for Clough and Langlois. They have 2 marks already, but they'll need another one to get this game over 100. There's a nice 10 by Phil. Good concentration on the spread eagle. And Jack Quinn, who has thrown a spare and a double strike in his first 4 boxes, steps up for the 9th and 10th. That time just a little bit off target.
1, 2, 8, and 9 pins left up.
Let's see. Nope, a little too full on the head pin. This is, however it turns out, going to be an outstanding first game for the team of Quinn and Gosselin. And unless Clough and Langlois can do something in the final 2, they're going to have a pretty sizable lead.
Especially when you consider they have only 5 marks, and they're going to be, well, I would say they're going to be over 140. 2 of the marks only had 4 fills. A double strike is so very, very important. They didn't make any mistakes on that one. Had an 8 drop on the first ball and then converted it for a spare.
Now Wood here to help inside on the 2, 4, and 8.
Just wants a piece of the 2-pin.
Yep. Spare in the 10th. And a 7 for 150 here. 7, Phil, for 150. We've said it before, obviously 150 is a great score no matter when you get it, but in doubles it's even more impressive. And there is the big 9, and it's a 152. Jack will wait that out, but I don't think he's going to get a topple on the 8-pin. He isn't. A 152 for Jack Quinn and Neil Gosselin to open this match.
Chuck Langlois is looking at a huge deficit, but
That's how to counteract it, though.
that's for sure. I'm just going to say he's going to concentrate on bowling his own game, try to forget about the score. There's a long ways to go. That looks good.
Oh,
There's a
yes!
double.
Oh, how about that for an answer in the final 2 boxes?
He was looking at possibly a 60-pin deficit at least, and he's going to cut that almost in half, depending on this ball. Next 2 balls, I should say.
Chuck Langlois
Another one
for the turkey.
He's got it. It's
3
right.
strikes in a row.
Wow. Seemingly out of this first game, they could tighten this right back up again.
Right now they're at 129 plus this ball. Obviously the computer has not added that all up yet, but 30 pins in the 9th, making it 109 plus the double strike in the 10th, 129 plus a ball.
4. Looked a decent ball too.
Oh, what happened? Chuck in a slump.
Wow. 17 pins from 44 down, the last 2 frames.
Chuck Langlois has just scored 56 pins in the last 2 boxes to tighten this thing up. Don't go away. Stars and Strikes doubles rolls on in a minute. Oh, what an opening game we had. Hope you didn't join us late. Phil Clough and Chuck Langlois closing what would have been a sizable gap in the last 2 boxes of that first game.
There were 44 pins down with 2 frames to go, and the other team threw a spare 9 in the last box, so you figure they're going to be at least 55 or 60 pins behind. But Chuck Langlois come up with a triple. Really closed the gap, just 17 pins now.
And Phil very nearly had a tough spare there. He made a good effort on it.
Phil doesn't throw hard. Pretty accurate, always around the object pin.
You talked earlier about his ability to, that'll be a 9 box if it goes down. It will be. Clip the piece of wood in the channel, so a 9 for Phil Clough. Talked about his ability to, in spite of the 113 average, get hot at a good time in the roll-offs, and this is not the first time it's happened. This is the 7th time that Phil has been on the program. So
2, 4, and 8.
That should certainly serve as inspiration to those of you who've been trying to get on the program for a long time and haven't been able to crack through there yet. Good spare that time for Phil.
Just almost looked like it was going to be a little light on the 2-pin, but with the wood in between, that's all the damage needs to be done in the other 2 pins.
Neil Gosselin now.
Let's see if the momentum has kind of swung the other way with that finish by Chuck Langlois.
Of course, you can look at this the other way, too. How often do you throw a triple strike and trail?
That's right.
Neil will take a 7.
crowd with us today again. You can see in the background.
Terrific crowd, very enthusiastic, and that looked like a better ball than that. The 7-8.
Now his ball breaks from right to left. Should help him in this shot. Shooting for the red line, maybe a little bit to the right of the red line. Carrying the ball off there into the 7-pin. Oh, he's way to the right. Too far. So a chuck for chance for Chuck when he gets up there to cut into the lead even further, because he'll be working on a mark.
10 box for Neil Gosselin, a 17 pair, but the lead is already down to 15, and it will shrink even more on this first ball.
Well, the last 3 balls he threw were strikes. Well, no, he had a 6-pin drop in the final ball, but he's been throwing some strikes. Let's see. Pretty good ball going in. Leaves a triangle, 2, 4, 5. 7 fill on the spare.
The lead down to 8.
Amazing. Oh, just 2 full on the 2-pin. Got the 5, left the 4.
Chuck and his wife Peg live in Concord, New Hampshire. Their 2 children, 2.5-year-old Charlie and 3-month-old Megan.
Where does he do his bowling, Doug?
Oh, I see he does most of his bowling right at the Boutwell's Bowling Center in Concord, New Hampshire. And Chuck works in the heating industry, also as a welder. Looking at a tough leave here. Well, nothing happening that time.
Just went by the 2, tried to cut the 2 over into the 6-10.
You only bring that up when it's...
Well, I just couldn't read it from this distance. That's 8 box, 44 through 4 for the team of Langlois and Clough. Now Jackie Quinn come up, bowl his 3rd and 4th frames for his team. Leading by 8, opposite 2 open frames.
Already we've seen a double strike by this man and a triple strike by Chuck Langlois.
Full on the head pin. Needs 2 to keep it at an 8-pin lead. Make it a 7-pin lead.
Jack Quinn and his wife Cheryl live in Fremont, New Hampshire. They also have 2 children, 10-year-old Joni and 8-year-old Nathan, and they're both here enjoying the action. Jack does a lot of his bowling at the Lafayette lanes and also at the Exeter lanes.
So the first 4 frames of this second game, both teams have cooled off somewhat.
Cooled off, and the match has tightened up even more. A 7-pin lead now for Jack Quinn and Neil Gosselin. They led by more than 40 just a few minutes ago. We'll be back. More action on Stars and Strikes doubles in a minute. Phil Clough stepping to the line. This is frame number 5, game 2. Terrific match working here. First week of our new series.
1-2-9-10 for Phil. Looks pretty good. Look better than that. Was able to manage to throw that head pin down and around the 10 pin, but never touched either the 9 or the 10.
9 box it is.
Well, he'll shoot out the triangle 5-8-9.
No. Boy, Phil has just missed on several shots.
Neil Gosselin back up for his 5th and 6th frames, and haven't had a mark now in 7 or 8 boxes.
Where did all the strikes go?
3, 6, 10 on the right, 4, 7. Piece of wood nestled in front and to the side of the 4. Still going to shoot the 3, 6, I'm sure, trying to split them. Made a shot similar to this on lane 29. $10 for Neil. I want to take a minute, Dan, if I could. I mentioned this to you off the air a couple of weeks ago and then neglected to mention it on the air, but I wanted to take a moment to wish my mom a happy birthday. She celebrated her 80th birthday a couple of weeks ago. Fantastic. Nice lady.
Big fan of Candlepin bowling. You know, it just occurred to me, I don't know as she's ever been Candlepin bowling.
Well,
I'll have to ask her. I don't think I've ever asked her that.
has she ever been to one of our tapings?
No, actually.
Oh.
But she will be one of these days.
Send that limo and pick her. Chuck Langlois up in lane 30. One, 3, 9, 10. Got some help in between and behind and to the side. You can see the wood should be a help if he hits the head pin.
Oh, yeah. Great shot by Chuck Langlois. As the team of Clough and Langlois tries to take the lead away. And they've been trailing throughout.
Oh, yes.
Strike on spare. What a comeback this is.
Chuck has got the strike ball working. Light hit for Jack, and he's looking at the 2, the 8, and the 10.
Well, the angle of the wood, this might go.
He's got to be careful of the ball flying up over the 10 pin, and then, oh, he's going to go too far to the right. So they have lost the lead. Well, not quite. Not yet. Not yet. It was quite a few in count, though. Yeah, actually, they did lose the lead.
Yep.
Yes.
Trail by 5.
And threatening to go higher because they have a strike already posted for the team of Clough and Langlois.
Trail by as many as 46.
Oh, there's a solid 9-pin drop, the 8-pin. And he's looking for that wood just to nestle up, freeze against the 8-pin. It isn't, though. He's going to have it clean.
Oh, watch out. Just slid by to the right. So all of a sudden, that double strike is a distant memory for the team of Quinn and Gosselin, as they have now gone the first 8 frames of this second game without marking.
How quickly things can turn around. A matter of a few inches here and there. This is working on a strike for Phil Clough. 1, 3, 6, 8, and 9 pins. 7 and 9 pins.
Let's see. He's giving it a run.
Good.
Oh, great shot. Phil Clough, spare on strike. 3 marks in a row for the team. Great shot there.
Oh, that looks good, too. Right back in the pocket. Looks even better now. My, oh, my. What another great finish by the team of Clough and Langlois.
20 at a time here.
Just tripping that 4-pin. Telling his partner, I can throw a strike now and then, too. That time lofted a little further out on the lane, pulled it to the left. Another ball working, though, on the strike.
And let's see. It will be an 8 for a 141. 276 through 2 for the team of Clough and Langlois. They've thrown 5 spares and 5 strikes.
It's a good example that the match is never over until it's over. And it seemed like Neil Gosselin and Jackie Quinn were having it all their way for the first 8 boxes of that first game, building up a sizable 40-pin, 44-pin lead. But now they find themselves on the other end and having to come back themselves. And they might have a sizable deficit to overcome.
An 8-box, 79 through 9. Well, Neil gets a little break there on the 9-pin.
1, 2, 4, 7, 4 horsemen left for Neil, and I dare say he really needs this. Trailing by 27. It's going to be a few more. Come from 40-something behind to just about 40 ahead.
An 8-box, 87 for the team of Gosselin and Quinn. A 2-string total of 239, and this thing has turned completely around. A 37-pin lead now for Clough and Langlois after 2. Still 1 game to go. What happens next? We'll be back in a minute. All right, time for the 3rd game here on Stars and Strikes Doubles. There's the situation for Jack Quinn and Neil Gosselin as Jack will start this 3rd and final game.
Seesaw affair, back and forth. Looks like the one that's left standing will be the winner.
This has been, right now, an 83-pin turnaround. The team of Quinn and Gosselin led by as many as 46 in the first game. They now trail by 37 after 2. $10 for Jack. Jack Quinn, by the way, was also in the first Stars and Strikes Doubles Tournament of Champions, teamed with Mike Morrill. They were the number 2 seeded group, and they lost the semifinal match to the eventual champions, Joe Ashline and Steve Vadney.
An interesting leave. 3, 5, 7, 10.
I'm sure Jack would love to see that wood cozy up next to the 3 and 5. It has a little bit.
Makeable, whether the ball's going to fly and not take the 7-pin. He's kind of high. I don't think he wanted to go that far to the right.
He moved them both. Both rocked a little bit, but... And it's an 18 opening pair.
Chuck Langlois is thinking, boy, if I could put 2 marks up now, pressure would be squarely on the team of Quinn and Gosselin if it isn't already.
A little full. He's got the 5, 6, and 10. That wood on the left is well out in front of the pins.
I think that's the one you have to use. I don't see anything going after the 6-10. A little bit of defense here, maybe.
We'll never know. Oh, yes.
He's
There's
back.
a big strike.
As if he left.
Well, he had a triple late in the first game, and he fired that one right in the 1-3 pocket.
Is that 5 strikes that he's through? The triple plus that one is
Yes.
4. I think it's 5.
Yep.
Amazing. And he's bowled, what, let's see, 6?
12 boxes.
12 boxes, and he's got, wow.
Well, either way, Quinn and Gosselin have to get some marks happening in a hurry here.
They have to string, whatever they are, spares or strikes, but they're going to have to start stringing them together. Looking at the 3, 6, 10.
There's one. Well, that ends a long drought for the team of Quinn and Gosselin. They had gone 12 consecutive boxes without marking. The last mark was the 10th frame of the first game. Neil looking for the big fill, gets it, and will he get them all? that close. A rocking 4-pin. For 2 marks in a row. Yes, sir. Well, that'll help.
Well, it's a start. Phil Clough working on a strike now, posted by his partner Chuck Langlois in the second. That one's got to hurry. It was late, but a terrific break off the head pin. Just the 1 and the 8 pins, 1 and the 9 pins left, and he's got some help in between. I dare say if he can capture the head pin, he'll get himself a spare.
That piece of wood out front in play, clearly. And it's a spare.
Don't hurt him.
Just enough. Be gentle on this one. Ball almost didn't make it into the pit.
He's a little late that time, too. That straightens the ball out on Phil instead of breaking a little sharper. Gets a 5 fill on the spare. 4 horsemen left plus the 9 pin. That's a backbreaker right there.
That's a terrific shot. We'll take a break, come back for the final 6 boxes of this match here on Stars and Strikes Doubles in a minute. Jack Quinn now working on the second of 2 consecutive marks left by his partner Neil Gosselin.
Phil Clough answered the call. They posted 2 marks, and he came back with 2 of his own. So Jack's just going to have to keep marking if he can, and he's going to have a difficult shot here unless the wood gets out of the way. He's got the 6-9. Might has a little guide for him. Yes.
Oh, yes.
3 in a row. Just can't look back. Just got to keep firing. Just say to yourself, 7, 8, and 9 fills on the strike. Another spare. I mean, on the spares and another spare. Of course, he'd love a strike.
A little off target. 5 fill.
Shot just the opposite side of Phil Clough just made. 4 horsemen plus the 8. Not this time. So the string will stop at 3. That's the one he wanted.
80 through 6, but they're not gaining any ground.
Could be all for naught. 3 marks in a row for this fellow's team right now. He started it with a strike, followed by 2 spares by his partner, and he's come back. What else? Another strike? Wow.
Chuck Langlois is on.
I'm going to have to kid him. I said, I don't think you can make a spare, Chuck.
That is 7 strikes for the team, and 6 of them have been thrown by Chuck Langlois. Oh, another one? Incredible.
It would have been if the wood wasn't behind the 5 pin.
Well, they're working on an outstanding triple as well. 5 marks in a row.
He can make some spares. But unfortunately, I think you could have made that one, Doug. Wow, 94 through 6 with a spare working. It's almost ready to put this one in the win column.
It's strike time now for the team of Gosselin and Quinn. Neil Gosselin from Lynn, Mass. Does a lot of his bowling at the Lucky Strike lanes in Lynn and also in Beverly. Neil has 3 children, 18-year-old Brandy, 16-year-old Neil Jr., and 12-year-old Sherry. And not able to make any magic happen on that shot. .88 through 7.
I'm sure Phil and Chuck would be hoping this would be championship week with this score.
Yeah.
We need 124 for 400, and they're at 134 clip plus the fill on the spare right now. High-low jack, 1710.
This will by far be the highest triple we've had rolled this season on Stars and Strikes doubles. A previous high 407 last week by Joe Ashline and Gary Carrington to win their way into the Tournament of Champions. Oh, look at this. 5 marks in a row, and not a bad setup for number 6.
It's got to be a little high in the wood, though. Try to turn it a little bit, push it back. Oh, he's going to miss it entirely almost. Just enough to get the 3-pin. Right now they're on cruise control.
And a 10, 111 through 7. And you see that lead continuing to mount. This has now been a 106-pin turnaround.
Wow. We won't forget this one for a while. Can't ever remember a match that I've been involved in over the years where one team was that far behind to go this far ahead.
This is like getting a 25-pin lead in basketball and then losing by 40. 25-point lead, or 25-pin lead.
Well, they had a 44 basket lead. That's a 60 basket. 8 bucks.
2 open frames for the team of Clough and Langlois.
I'd say maybe they're getting tired, but they can't be. They've thrown too many strikes. They haven't thrown that many balls. Half Worcester right. We haven't seen that all day.
Did he make it? No. A 9-box 105 with 1 box remaining. Well, Phil Clough and Chuck Langlois will be returning next week. And they will look for their 2nd straight win against our 3rd-seeded team of Steve Lavery and Roger BEAUDIN. For the spare in the 10th. Always a mark in the 10th when you're trailing. Especially when you're trailing by more than a mark will help with.
Yes, for sure. Oh, yes.
Now the big finish. The 9-drop on the spare, a 124, and a 3-string total, 363 for Quinn and Gosselin.
Not a bad total considering the second game was only 87. But not to be today.
Chuck Langlois with his
else?
7th strike of the day.
Unbelievable. Amazing.
Chuck Langlois has rolled 15 boxes now. 7 of them have been strikes.
There's another one. The pin
falls
falls
the right way.
Yeah. Okay, now I'm not telling a story out of school here, but Monday night Chuck bowled in a league, and I have to ask him, but I think he hit about 310 or 315, and I said to him, I said, well, maybe you're saving them all for Sunday. Well, that was an understatement. Wow.
The 10, a 148, and a 3-game total of 424 for the team of Phil Clough and Chuck Langlois. They win going away against Neil Gosselin and Jack Quinn after trailing early on. And we will be back to talk with all the bowlers here on Stars and Strikes in a minute. Welcome back to the Londonderry Bowling Center, our first of this 4-week series now in the books, and what an extraordinary match it was, with one team jumping out to a huge lead and then the comeback, of course, featuring all the strikes thrown by Chuck Langlois. We'll talk to the winning team in just a second, but let's call up first Neil Gosselin and Jack Quinn. We have checks for them, and although it's not the checks that they wanted, guys, that was just a very, very unusual match. Have you ever been involved in something like that?
Well, we sort of fell apart the second string, but it happens once in a while.
Well, also, too, I mean, after throwing a 150 in the first game, I mean, even if you do fall apart in the second string, the other guys have to roll the score to beat you, and they really came together after that first part of the first game.
Oh, yeah, they bowled pretty good, and they threw a lot of strikes. And not too much you can do.
All of a sudden, the pins were just flying all over this place.
That triple he threw at the end was the key. That was the key to the whole match. He got it going. If he doesn't throw that, we're up 50 pins going in. It's tougher to catch.
It's. I know it's happened to everybody enough so that everybody knows that it's amazing how quickly it can come and go. I mean, you guys had it working and then it just disappeared.
We did it together though. We were together in the first and separate on the first. Second was terrible.
Well, obviously, we're happy to have you both here, and we hope we hope you'll come back and visit us real soon.
Hope so.
All right. Thanks, Jack, and thanks, Neil. We appreciate it. Again, fifth prize money for Jack and for Neil, $150. And now let's talk to our winning team. Let's bring up Phil Clough and Chuck Langlois. What an extraordinary match they threw, a 4.24. And, Chuck's got a little friend with him. This is little Charlie, huh?
This is my son, Charlie, 2.5.
Are we going to get him to say anything, or is he going to get shy on me?
Say hi, everybody.
Hi.
Did you hear that? Did you just hear that? It was a little hi. Say hi again.
Hi.
There you go. All right. Well, you had the strike ball working here today.
Yeah, I was happy for that. It felt good to do it for a change, So I've been bowling well this year, so I'm due for it.
Dan wrecked your cover, though, because he told the story on the air of what you hit the other night.
Oh, yeah, well, that kind of put a damper. Hopefully it don't put a damper on the next match.
Well, that was a terrific performance. Chuck, I guess it's a question of, as Neil said, it's do it together either way, and you guys were able to really put a lot of marks together, helped by all the strikes.
Sure did. Chuck must have embarrassed himself in the first two boxes because, boy, he really came on strong after that and put us right in the match with that triple he threw.
Is this a situation where you're particularly comfortable here? Is that part of it? Or?
Yeah, I do a lot of rolling off here and stuff, so I'm pretty used to the lanes. They've been pretty good to me in the past few years anyway.
Well, as far as you're concerned, Phil, we know you have to make the long ride up here, so this means you'll be staying along for at least one more week, so that'll make it worth the ride.
Yeah, the longer I stay, the better it is.
Phil, thanks very much, and Chuck, congratulations, and good to see you, Charlie. You going to stay for the next match? Say bye. Wait, point right over there and wave bye. Okay, there you go. Thanks, guys. Congratulations. We'll see you next week. All right, let's get you set up for next week's show now, as we have Chuck Langlois and Phil Clough moving on. And although I was debating having Charlie now as my new co-host, we'll bring Dan Murphy back in here and see if we can get you to say a few words. That was just a very, very unusual match.
Hi. Yeah, it certainly was. I never saw a swing. We talked about that throughout the match, how one team was so far ahead and then just the roof collapsed, and at the same time the other team got hot. And Chuck was with a strike ball, just amazing.
But now when you have a stretch like that where you throw all those strikes, especially for Chuck, don't you worry now, well, geez, what's going to happen next time now?
Yeah, it's a little, you got to get over those plateaus, realizing if I did it once, I can continue doing it if I don't change anything. But a lot of times that's what happens. You start overthrowing now, you get pumped up a little too much. And if you're off a quarter of an inch one way or another, it could mean the difference of a strike and a spread eagle.
All right, as you saw a moment ago, it'll be next week's match will feature Phil Clough and Chuck Langlois as they try and make it 2 wins in a row. Steve Lavery and Roger Bowden will be here as their challengers. Neither one of them has been here in a while, so they're looking forward to it, I'm sure, and we hope you are too. Be sure and join us next Sunday at 12 noon for Stars and Strikes, and then next Sunday at 5 o'clock from the Londonderry Bowling Center right here for Stars and Strikes doubles. Until then, for Dan Murphy and the whole Win Sports crew, Doug Brown, have a good week, everybody.